Hello there. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to my podcast, Sacred Soul Sisters. My name is Justina. I am an Usui Holy Fire and Angel Reiki Master with over 20 years of practice, and I'm your host. I can't wait to let others feel the love of community and remind us of the importance of coming together instead of coming apart. Now let's take a deep breath together in through our nose and a long exhale out of our mouth. This is my intentions in a poem to set the tone for our sacred soul sister community. Here you go. Welcome, dear soul, to this sacred space where all are embraced with love and grace. From every land, from near and far, no matter who you are, you're a star. Feel the warmth, the light, the peace. Let your spirit find release. Here we gather, hearts aligned, to uplift, to heal, to realign. Breathe in deeply, feel your glow. Let your light expand and flow. As I pour into you with love so true, your cup overflows, your soul renews. Together we rise, in love we stand, lifting vibrations hand in hand. A mission of light, a journey divine. Thank you for sharing your soul with mine. Welcome to the Sacred Soul Sisters space, a home of love and sacred embrace. I'm so glad you're here. Hello. Hi, welcome back. Guess what? So, this will probably be a little bit after, of course, this time, but we hit 1,000 downloads with the podcast. Oh my gosh. And I had made the agreement with Spirit that I would be doing a live as soon as we did. And holy crap, we really did hit 1,000. And so I did a live on Instagram, and I have to say, I am very proud of my inner self because that was terrifying. But I did it, and I'm so glad that I followed through on my promise that I made to Spirit, as Spirit follows through on their promises to me. That's for sure. Sometimes not on my timetable, which is frustrating, but they do follow through. I wanted to tell you guys about this app that a friend of mine told me about the other day called I Am, and it is absolutely amazing. And it reminds me a lot of Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and all of those books that she wrote, and all of the amazing affirmations that she put into this world to help us and guide us. It reminds me very much of that, and it has been wonderful. I've only had it on for a couple of days, but for instance, like today, it popped up and said, I am not perfect, and that's okay. And while logically I know that, I think I often, as many people do, strive to be perfect, right? In just about everything I do. And my thought process is, I can always do better. And but I think what happens sometimes with that mentality is an underlying, I haven't done good enough, right? I'm just not quite good enough. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that struggle with that as well. I do struggle with it. We develop these limiting beliefs over our lifetimes from many scenarios, from sometimes not even our own scenarios. I feel like we get some of these carried over from generations as well. This kind of underlying current of, I'm never going to make enough money. I'm never going to be rich. I'm never this. I'm never that. And then these running, repeating words of that continue to play in our head, all of this self-talk, right? And Spirit has really drawn me to the power of words. lately and really, really trying to tune in what's coming out of my mouth. But not only what's coming out of my mouth, what's coming out of my thought process. What am I telling myself? And really trying to interrupt that as it plays as a broken record often. So I'm asking you to kind of check in and, what is your self-talk saying? Or what are the words you're saying out loud? Are you reinforcing the negativity? Are you reinforcing the limiting belief? Because, when we look at it, which we talk about multiple times, is that where we put our focus, right? Where we put our intention, energy goes. So if we're constantly saying, I'm never going to make enough money, I'm never going to be rich, I'm never going to, have a nice life, I'm never going to get that white fence in my yard that I always wanted to get, I'm never going to get, all of these things. I mean, I feel like the universe is like, well, okay, I guess that's what you really want because you just keep repeating it. So, we'll just adapt and keep giving you that. And as Spirit keeps bringing this into me, they're really having me reflect on what's going on in my head. And while I have gotten better about the words coming out of my mouth, there's still quite a bit of work I need to be doing on the inside that I need to be doing with my self-talk. So I'm trying to really put a pause, to really catch myself and be like, whoa, hold up. Let's reframe this thought process. Instead of saying, this is never going to work out, this could never happen, or I can't do this. How about I can do this? And whether I do it or not, right away or anything is really irrelevant. Spirit just started to show me like what happens in our body too. So, okay, so not only does the universe respond to us, but our bodies respond to us, right? And when you think of a positive thought and a negative thought, right? Which one do you think has a higher frequency? Yep, the positive thought. So if we want to do everything we can to stay healthy in this life, to be able to live our life to the fullest, to be able to be there for those that love us, depend on us, and to follow our purpose, then part of our job is to do things and to be aware of updating ourselves as we change, right? So while some of the thought processes that I've had or some of the things that have come out of my mouth or self-talk may have been very true 30 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever, that they're not true now. Hello, beautiful souls. Will you do me a huge favor? If you go to angelreikijourney.com, if you can scroll down and go to subscribe to newsletter and put your email in there. That way, anytime I have an event, whether it's going to be live, in person, or on Zoom, you have that information at your fingertips and you'll receive that in the newsletter. I don't spam you. I send out a newsletter letter once a month. I'll send out something else if something really cool and amazing is happening. Otherwise, also make sure to check your spam folder and convert that over to your inbox if for some reason it is going to spam. But so also some really cool things happening. I am working on, getting the courage to be on TikTok. Yes, I can't believe it. Also, a YouTube channel Spirit made me sign up for about, it was 2012, however long ago that was, which feels like 100 years ago. Anyway, they are working on me to get the podcast uploaded over there too, and some other videos and workshops that we're working on behind the scenes. So excited. Return to the episode and have a great day. I don't have the same limits now in my 40s. And it's very freeing. Thank God I've made it to my 40s. I'm telling you, there's something about your 40s. And I'm 45 this year. I'll be 46 September 8th. And there's just something that really releases some of the pressure, I feel like. Like there's this acceptance that starts to come in, and your concern about so many people. I still worry about some people, don't get me wrong, about what they think of me. I'm not like, oh, I can do anything and I'm not concerned about anything. I like to talk a big talk sometimes in my head, but the bottom line is I'm still working on that. However, it's not paralyzing me like it has before and in the past. And that's one of the things I had to update. You know what? If Joe Smith and Sarah Lee, that really makes me want to have pound cake, Sarah Lee. Anyway, if they, don't resonate with what I talk about, if they don't like what I have to say, if they think I'm crazy, if they think I'm nuts or whatever, then they think that. And oh well, what does that have to do with me? If I know that I'm living in my purpose, and I know that I am checking in with spirit frequently, and I'm checking in with myself frequently, that I am not living by ego, that I am not, deliberately doing things out of alignment, then who the hell cares what anybody else has to say about it? We don't have to. We don't have to. And I feel like as we shift through these dimensions where, where the whole world is shifting, which is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful because it's so needed. There's so many things that we really are able to start letting go of, that we don't have to bring extra baggage into this, quote, new world sort of scenario that we're going into. We don't have to. We can just let it go, right? Just let it go. Something that came up too with these limiting beliefs is my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's so cute. She started playing this song, God is in this story, which I've heard several times before. It's a contemporary Christian song, and Big Daddy Weave and Katie Nicole sing it, and I love them both very much. And it makes me think about those limiting beliefs, about when I slip into being concerned still about what some people feel about me. And, what I'm finding is even in spirituality, there is people that assume, oh, so you're like all spiritual, right? So like, oh, you don't have any concerns ever and everything. And I found that I would run into that as a Christian too, which I'm still a Christian. I believe in Jesus. And people would say like, oh, you're a Christian, so you don't have any problems anymore, and your life is just perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was interesting that as my spirituality continued to open up, as I started to work more with the angels and people's past loved ones came in, and all of these different consciousness and everything, that people had the same thing to say about that. And I'm not sure if they even really get that idea, or if they're just so irritated by my light that like they just have to come up with something to say. So it's really interesting. So bring me to the lyrics of God is in this story. And it says, there's torn up pages in this book, words that tell me I'm no good, chapters that define me for so long, but the hands of grace and endless love dusted off and picked me up, told my heart that hope is never gone. God is in this story. God is in the details. Even in the broken parts, he holds my heart. He never fails. When I'm at my weakest, I will trust in Jesus. Always in the highs and the lows, the one who goes before me, God is in the story. So if the storm you're walking through feels like it's too much and you wonder if he even cares at all, hold on tight to what you know. He promised he won't let you go. Your song of healing's written in his scars. And it goes on, with the chorus again, God is in the story. And then it says, if it reads like addiction, if it reads like disease, he's the one who frees the prisoner. He's the healer of all things. If it reads like depression, if it reads broken home, he's the one who holds your sorrow. He won't leave you here alone. Always in the highs and lows, the one who goes before me, God is in this story. And I feel like so much of that is true. I feel like, regardless, sorry, there's a nice enormous mosquito that just landed on me. Anyway, if God is in this story, if your God, if your source, universe, spirituality, whatever you cling to that is bigger than you, and we are doing things that we are in alignment to be doing, and our intentions are pure, we're never left out in the cold, right? And I know I've told you that before, and I know that you know that on a certain level, but I need to hear it often. I need to hear it often, that we are not left alone in our story. That regardless of what's going on, we're never left alone, right? Which is so reassuring and so beautiful. I'm so grateful that we are not left alone. And sometimes it starts to really feel like we are left alone, right? Because we get in our heads. I mean, it's hard. This life in this human body is very emotional. There are a lot of things going on all at the same time. And our body, our brain, everything is trying to catch up and respond to those things. And then, especially when we add worry to the table, then we get so much in our head. And that's the times that it's so hard to hear. It's so hard to hear the soft whispers of our higher self, the soft whispers of Jesus, the soft whispers of Mother Mary, the soft whispers of Mother Teresa, Padre Pio, the universe, Buddha. Because most of the time when they are speaking to you, it is not them standing with a foghorn speaking really, really loud and clear. It's in the whispers. It's speaking through your gut. It's speaking through your heart. It's speaking through pure love. But you can't feel those things or sense those things when you're so in your head. So that's why Spirit's forever reminding me, go back to your heart. Go back to your heart. Every time you start to lose your damn mind, for lack of better words, go back to your heart. Because while we're never leaving you, it starts to feel like we are, because you're pulling away from us as you're going into your head. And not only are you doing that, you're also, maybe not fully trusting that you are divinely guided and divinely supported. And we are called to do that. And when we do that, gosh, life feels so much better, right? That heaviness is lifted off of us when we know that we're supported. When we remind ourselves we're not alone. When we remind ourselves that we can trust in this. Thank God we have, no pun intended, we have support, right? Thank goodness we have our spirit teams backing us. So even when it feels like they're not near, pause a minute. Did you move away? Because they didn't. They didn't. So, I just kind of want us to start to bring our focus to the things about, what are we limiting ourselves from? And are we truly limited? Or is it something that we have put in our brain in order to try to keep ourselves safe, in order to decrease our times of trying, with the thought process of, well, if I don't try, I don't fail, right? If I don't open up, I don't get hurt, right? Well, sort of. But you also don't move. You don't grow. I just got another update on, from my I Am app, and it says, I will be okay. I really suggest this app because it prompts you to read things and to say things that are positive, that are reassuring, to break the cycle of the constant limiting belief talk we do to ourselves. There's so many limiting beliefs. Women, that went on for generations. Women were created to reproduce, and if you didn't reproduce, what good are you? And if you couldn't cook a meal, what good are you? Or if you couldn't clean a house, what good are you? And men, men went through lots of it too. Well, if you can't hold a job, what good are you? And if you can't, pay all the bills, then what good are you? And what kind of man are you? And if you don't, look super masculine and stand in your masculinity and not let a woman talk to you and stand up for herself, what kind of man are you? There's all of these things that we get programmed in so many different ways, but I feel like the truth is coming back. Like, we're finally starting to get opportunities to really reflect on what's going on and what we are absorbing and what we are listening to and who we are listening to. Which also reminds me, watch yourself with what you're listening to. Watch yourself, and ask yourself, does this feel real? Does this feel true? Sit with it for a minute, because just because it's on TV does not mean it's real. Okay? So Spirit is coming back in. This is something I taught an energy class the other night. Just kind of like a how can we raise our vibe sort of thing. And it was really interesting. Spirit had lots to add to that. So one of the things that they want me to pass on, and they were very adamant about, okay, so I know, and well, let me rephrase that. I sort of know that there has been some things going on with our environment, right? That we have had some weather manipulation, right? I've heard them talk about cloud seeding and different things like that, but I don't even know all the extent of it, because I don't remember the last time I watched TV other than a clip of this or a clip of that. I don't know why I don't get a lot of time with it. Anyway, but Spirit came in and kept showing me. They first started showing me clouds, and then they showed me clouds that sort of looked like a haze, kind of coming down, hovering right above the grass, the ground. And I thought it was interesting that there was always a little bit of a clear space when they kept bringing this in over the last week or so. And I was like, what are you showing me? And but now reflecting, I feel like the space was Mother Earth, no, putting up this protective shield and layer, no, I do not want you to penetrate my earth completely. I do not want you to seep into the ground completely. And then the energies, or that was what I was going to say. It started to feel like it was energy, because then it turned into smog, with some black and gray and stuff in it. And I was like, what is going on? And Spirit was like, I just want people to be aware of their environment and what are they doing to help themselves stay as healthy, so to speak, as they can. And one of the things they started bringing in was they kept saying, we got to bring the salt baths back. We got to bring the salt baths back. And I'm like, what? I don't know where the salt baths went or what? And then I thought, well, I used to take an Epsom salt soak like once in a great while, like if I was really achy or something, but I was never one that was big about soaking in a salt bath. And they were like, no, you got to do a salt bath, preferably like at the very least, like twice a week. I tried to get them to tell me just once a week, but they would prefer like 3 to 5 times a week is what it feels like. But they were like, but the salt has to be in the water. You need to be in the water for at least 20 minutes. And you really need to allow that to pull out of your body. And what they were referring to was this sort of smog-like stuff in the air. So, and they alluded to, you can't even though you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. And Spirit was like, you can't always see us, but we're there, right? So we're letting you know that there is also some stuff in your environment that you may not see with the naked eye all the time, but it's there. And we want to do everything we can to help you continue to function to the best of your ability until we can get all of this stuff reversed, so to speak. So they really want you to take some salt baths, and they're like Dead Sea salt, or they showed me some type of some type of salt looks like crystals, but it has a different name, and it's specifically for pulling like toxins out. I don't know. I don't know a ton about. I need to do some more research. A friend of mine sent me a picture of a salt that she uses, and it was called Ancient Minerals Magnesium Bath. And apparently, I checked in with Spirit, and it feels like that works as well. That it's kind of an alternative to Epsom salt, and also it can help you return some of your electrolytes into your body, some of the things that we're low on. And then someone else had mentioned to me that, even if you don't have time to do that for some reason, you can take some of that salt in your hands and kind of wash your hands to help at least pull something out. So I'm working with Spirit now to see if there's a way with intention that you can do that. If for some reason you don't have the ability to take a bath, not everybody has a bath in their house. They have showers, right? So I don't know if there's a way to do that. I would imagine there is, and I would imagine there's also probably some type of spray maybe. If you're a little bit more knowledgeable about that, please reach out and maybe we can get you on the podcast or something as far as recommending salts or what salts you've worked with and that kind of thing. Please don't if you haven't worked with any of it at all, because definitely want somebody that has had some experience with it and some knowledge base with it. But they are saying it is a huge recommendation right now, almost a like, you gotta do this. Don't mess around, do this. So I am passing that on to you. So start doing some soaks, right? And they're also saying, to be mindful, they don't necessarily want you doing a ton of multitasking during this either. So maybe put on some meditative music. Even if you don't close your eyes and meditate, if you just lay there, be quiet. And when thoughts start to come in, put them on a little cloud and send them on their way. But just be quiet for 20 minutes while that salt pulls the ick, for lack of better words, out of you, and allow that meditative music. Just listen to it. Just listen to the sounds. That's all you got to do.
And Spirit's saying that can, then you can get kind of a double whammy, so to speak, of support, right? Your cells can respond to that beautiful meditative music and rejuvenate while your body is also being cleansed of impurities. So, so those are your tidbits for this week. I hope things are going well with you. Remind yourself you're not alone, and please check in with this, with yourself, and please interrupt the negative self-talk. Be cognizant. Just do a practice, even if you do it for a week or something. And if a week seems too long, say, for the next 2 days, I'm going to do this. And then in 2 days, say, for the next 2 days, I'm going to do this. I'm going to interrupt negative self-talk or limiting beliefs. When I go to say I can't, or I'm going to say this is just the way it is and life will always be this way and I want you to pause, stop, and remind yourself it doesn't have to be that way. You are the creator of your situation and your life. And my I Am app just updated again and said, good things are happening. I think that is a perfect mantra to end on. So if you can add that, put that on a little sticky note, put it in your car, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your bathroom mirror, wherever you got to, so you can read this several times a day. Good things are happening. And say it out loud. There ain't nobody in the car with you. Don't nobody care. Even if you look like you're talking to yourself, it's okay. They talk to themselves too. It's all right. Good things are happening. You can even record it on your voice memo and just play it back over and over, so you sort of end up saying it anyway. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I still can't believe we hit 1,000 downloads. That's so freaking awesome. I want to say it was like July 22nd when we did that. Does that sound right? I think so. And not too bad for launching the podcast in April. So I'm so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you know anybody that you feel like their heart may be touched or they may start to feel supported from the podcast, please share it with them. Follow it. And So have a great rest of your week. I love you. And you are awesome.
Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick second and say thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And I want to take a minute and ask for a quick favor. If when you're listening to an episode, if you could please just take a second, place your hand on your heart and take a deep breath in through your nose and a long exhale out of your mouth, and just set the intention to send love and light to every single person listening right now, yesterday, and in the future. I think together we just might be able to raise the vibration of this world. I'm so excited. And please follow me on Instagram at Angel Reiki Journey. Visit my website to book an appointment with me at angelreikijourney.com. And please follow this podcast, Sacred Soul Sisters. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Have a great day.